Hey, what's up, forehead? How we doing today? As you might be able to see, truck is a real bit fucked up, and today I'm gonna fix it. Since this thing decided it wanted to be one with the trees the other night, I got a couple scratches and I got a nice little ding right there. Nothing horrible, so that should pop out relatively easily. So the first things first is going to be to pound this dent back out. Then I'm going to wet sand just about everything here, forward and across, because it did get a decent bit of the front as well. I'm also going to try and take this chrome, take that away, make it black, so that's going to get wet sanded as well, just to kind of scratch up the chrome a little bit and get something to stick there. And then from there, it's going to be paint and clear. Stick around to the end to see the final results, which are absolutely stunning. I did get all of the stuff that I was going to need from the dent all the way up to clear. So first things first, I'm going to get into this, and I got to get into this inner fender well, pull that down a little bit, this way I can get a hammer in there and start whacking away. Let's get into that.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit and the coffee ain't hit.
Now that I got the fender off, I'm just gonna get into this body toolkit. Got me a body hammer and this guy and a rag. I'm gonna need a rag. And the reason for the rag is to wrap this tool up in, put it on this. This way I have something that I'm whacking against. So all I'm gonna do is just kind of start beating this thing out. So you might notice I'm not taking this and whacking the hell out of it. You might also notice there's a bunch of little ripples in here. If you could see the ripples in the sunlight. Those are no big deal because we have body filler. So I got this dent pounded out pretty nicely. Now the next step is to just water sand it to 180 or to 80. This way the body filler kind of has something to stick to. It also doesn't have to be wet sanding. It can be just straight sanding. Now the cool thing about once you start sanding is it'll show you all your low spots. Like this is a low spot right here. Or all of this is high. But that's definitely a high spot, so I'll try and beat that in a little bit. Like that. That's a high spot. Beat that in a little bit. That's a low spot, so I'm gonna try and bring it out a little bit. Another high spot right there. Try and bring it down. You might be noticing that this looks like one big low spot. It probably is, so we'll come back and beat that out a little bit. That's still a pretty high spot. Beat that in a little bit. Now I just made a whole low spot. It's alright, that's what we got body filler for though. So now I'm gonna go mix some filler and apply it. All right, so on the last project, we used fiberglass, but on this project, we're gonna use some body filler. Some common misconceptions about body filler is, oh, it's just Bondo, it's all gonna be shit. Well, I'll tell you what, the professionals use Bondo. That's just the generic brand for it. The problem comes in is when you don't do any of this, and then just slap, 2 inches of Bondo over your paint to try and make it look good. Yes, you heard me right. Professionals use Bondo. Like I said, Bondo is just the brand name, at least of this one. Bondo is body filler, and that's what I'm using. Now I don't think I'm gonna need much, so I'm not gonna put much on my palette. My palette for the day is gonna be a paper plate, because you don't necessarily need a palette to do this, but it helps. It sure does help. So let me show you how to mix some Bondo here. So let me show you a little bit about body filler. Get your body filler out of here and get it on your palette. I don't think we're gonna need too much. And quite honestly, I think that much will do it. Make sure you get it off your mixing stick. You're supposed to have a mixing stick. I'm using a screwdriver. So I actually didn't think I was gonna have to do this. You're gonna have your body filler, and you're also gonna have some hardener. The ratio is 5 to 1. 5 parts body filler to 1 part hardener. And usually it looks a little bit like that. Next, take your spreader and you can either use your corner or you can take your flat part and flip it like so. And you're just mixing until you get a solid color. And some of those tricks are going to be to go diagonally. Believe it or not, if you go diagonally, you don't have nearly as much working against you. And then when you get to the end, you flatten it out, you pull it back. And also, you got to be kind of quick about it because you don't want to have it start clumping up and then those clumps will make streaks in it. It's not a fun time. All right, so I used way more body filler than I actually needed. Maybe my day-to-day eye-to-eye stuff is not that great, but hey, look at that. So that's what we're gonna work with. We're gonna wait for that to dry, and then while we're doing that though, I'm gonna get this shit off of here. And it's just body filler. It'll harden and start almost kneading off of your fingers like clay once it hardens. Alright, so now I can start water sanding the rest of everything that needs to get done. I'm gonna water sand everything to 400 on the bumper because 400 is what I need for paint, and nothing went past paint. So water sand everything real smooth to 400 until there's no scrapes, nothing like that, no scratches, nothing deep, no lines in the paint. And just like with the bike, water sand until it's smooth. Don't forget, just like with any other wet sanding, I'm chasing after it with a paper towel. Check my progress. So we got a little bit something going on down here. So this is all flaky, right? Look at that, flaky. So I'm gonna have to hit right here with 320 first, and then come after it with 400. And then chase back after it with some 400 again. And that's just the basic principle of getting everything real super smooth. Now I'm going to do the whole thing to the whole front side. Alright, so pop quiz. What's my favorite masking? You're right, paper towels. This is sanded all the way up to 400. This is ready for paint now. Mask with masking tape. Put paper towels underneath it. This way I don't get any overspray down there. Up here, I'm going to put tape and paper towels going up, and then tape on top of the paper towels to mask just the bumper. And then back here, I'm just going to put tape on the back side of it. This doesn't matter if it gets painted or not. I don't care. I just don't want to get any of this sparkly black down here. Yeah, I'm going to paint this. And you might notice there's a bunch of gray here. That's because I had a bunch of paint peeling up. So I took that piece off of here. You guys saw it. And I sanded all of this, and all of this will have a nice fresh coat of paint too. Even though you won't even be able to see it. But that'll be a nice shiny black as well. Alright, so as you saw, I did the masking and I threw on a layer of paint. I'm going to throw on 2 more coats of paint, and I'm going to leave the Bondo until that gets dried up, and that'll be in primer. I just hope the sun will stay out long enough for me to do it, but since the Bondo is part of the mask, I think the Bondo is just going to stay there for now. And then this, I'll just finish this up. Fun fact about body work, it's not about the finished product, it's all about the prep work. That's what'll get you your results. Well, it is about the end product, but it's not about the application, it's about the prep. Your prep work makes all the difference. Let me show you some examples. So there are some spots where the paint is kind of bubbling up, but they're in the areas that little plastic cover are in, so I'm not worried about it. There are also some spots over where the scratches were that have a little dips in them. Once again, I'm not worried about it. It'll be fine. It doesn't look like it was all scratched up now. You gotta wait for the paint to dry to add some clear over this. But while I do that, I'm gonna hit this plastic piece in some straight black. Ta-da! So that'll look a lot better once it gets on there too. Oh yeah, it does. Damn, now I feel bad for the other gray plastic that's on this fucking thing. Alright, so I'm going to sand this down to 600. Wet sand it down to 600, just like I did to 400, just all the way across. Wet sand it to 600, and then I'll be back. Alright? Okay. Cool. Fucking yeet. So you remember that whole thing about I'm gonna wet sand to 600 and then be good? Okay, well I lied. I didn't come back after I wet sanded to 600. Actually, what I did was, you're not gonna believe this, I did the whole thing. This is clear coat. Clear coat. I sprayed this black and put clear coat on that. I sprayed from here to all the way over here. That's just watermark stuff right there, so we don't gotta worry about that. It'll go away with a little lick. Yeah. So this all just needs to get buffed now. I don't have a buffer, so it's just kind of chill like this for now. Still have some ripples going on right here, and I want to get rid of those. I have to put another layer of body filler on here, get rid of like this rough stuff here. I don't know if you guys can see this. There's some dimples in there, and gotta get those out. Since there's exposed metal here, it's actually kind of starting to rust because of the way life works and rain and moisture. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this at least to primer today. Hey, so yeah, if you can tell, I did a little bit of work. I forgot to film while I was actually doing this, but it's still a little tacky, so I can't sand it yet. So I'm just gonna wait for this to dry. By that time, this will all be smooth, and then it'll be going from primer all the way up. See you when this is dry. Yeah, it's a little tacky right here, but we'll be fine. So the trick for sanding is actually like cross patterns. So I know you guys see the lines going this way. Well, you probably don't. Now you should. Maybe. You might see some lines going like this. So then from this, you would go, I like to refer to it as cross hatching because it's like cross hatching a cylinder. However, that's how you do it. And then it's just making everything smooth, make everything flat. Oh, why is it raining? Why you gotta put a damper on everything? Huh, damp. So yeah, it's gonna be just do one way, the other way, and then a big tip is to not like go with your fingers like this, because you'll actually make grooves in it, finger-shaped grooves in what you're sanding, and you don't want to do that. So go opposite or diagonal with your fingers, and you won't have those grooves. I'm gonna do this, and I will meet back with you when it's all smooth at 80. Hey, it's me, your boy. As you can see, rain is coming down, so I gotta stop. But we'll reconvene next time. No! Fuck. Just wanted to get it in primer so it wouldn't rust from rain. And here we are. Yay. Hello motherfucker, hey, hi, how you doing? It's your boy, Mr. Take 4 months for a video. Not 4 months, it's actually been like 2.5. Anyway, trying to put this in primer, which I never got to do. So this has to get sanded, gets primer, then sanded again, then paint, then sanded again, then clear. Let's do it. I'm gonna start off with 80 grit to get everything, all the bad spots smooth, like all the pits that I was showing you before. Yeah, those, gotta get all those smooth. So, I said I wanted to get rid of this little bit that's in here. Future me, come on, do your job. Thank you. This is the part I kind of want to get rid of, so I'm going to use a knife and just kind of... It'll sound like that too, believe it or not. There it goes. There, just like that. Make sure you're recording. Yep, you're gorgeous, baby. I love you. Now we got everything nice and smooth. Everything feels real super smooth. So I got to step up all the way up to 180 and then primer. So let's go do that. I have a little crease on the underside. I want to chase after it with 80 again and get it cleaned up before I try and take 320 all over it and tear up that sandpaper. Now I'm going to wash it using the tried and true method of water and a paper towel. Okay, so pretty much all I'm going to touch with the primer is this. Not going to focus on any of this, even though this has this little bit of a mess up right here. Not going to worry about it. Not going to worry about it. And also, I decided I'm not going to be doing this in this video simply because of how long it's just taken to do this. So, please bear with me for that. I think I'm just going to get a whole new bumper and put it there, but you know. Now the primer is just going to go right here. I'm going to mask it off a little bit, just this and kind of behind it, because I need to blend it. You know what I'm saying? It'll make sense. There, mask it. Remember to shake it. A little something like that. That's what I meant by blending. Kind of fan it out as I was going across. You like waiting paint? You like waiting paint dry to do? Me too. I'm gonna give it another coat to try and mitigate the sanding through. Hey, you know, while we're waiting for paint to dry, do the thing to go, you know, hard stuff. No better time to say, if you like what you see here, right, that includes, you know, this piece of perfection, okay, you can go down and hit the subscribe button, please. You can also check me out over on Twitch. I'm over there a little bit more often than I can upload here. Same name, Chris on a 6. I stream every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Sometimes I stream editing on Friday, so you get a little behind the scenes of what actually happened here. And maybe sometimes Saturdays. Usually I take Saturdays off, but you know, hey, yeah. Is the paint dried yet, future me? No, it is not past me. Well, fuck. Well, fast forward to then. You got it. Still waiting for paint to dry, but did you know that this is a motorcycle channel? Yeah, this just happened spur of the moment, and I was like, oh, I can make a video on that. And the motorcycle that's over there still isn't running right. I didn't order the fuel pump. What I did instead was I actually paid this thing off. Yeah, so a lot of money went into this, not that. Eventually I'll be picking back up over on that. Like I showed in like 3 videos back, still got the exhaust, but I don't have bolts for it. And we got to do the fuel pump, and hopefully that will make it run right. Hey, I think it's time now. You could start doing your thing with that. Oh, thanks, future me. I'll get right on that. So now it's going to be wet sanding from here on forward. 400. Got the water to make things wet. Did you know water's wet? Fight me. So you may be thinking, Chris, you messed up. There's gray right there and some right there. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Trust me. I know where the spots are now. So I'll go over it with another decent layer of primer, especially in this area right here. And then I'll go into it with 600 sandpaper and then come at it with paint. Trust me. So So with this primer on here now at least if it rains, anything like that, I have this spot right here that'll protect from rust or anything like that. This whole time I've been going with bare metal on the underside and there's a little bit of rust there. I'm not gonna make you watch this dry this time, so we'll come back when it's time to sand to 600, which is right now. Primer's dry. Boom, look at that magic. Movie magic, bitch. Now we'll wet sand it to 600 and put paint on it. Sanded to 600. We sanded this whole area out to 600. Kind of break up the clear coat on the actual paint. And then we got this part that we have in primer. So I'm gonna kind of mask off just a little bit more here, just to protect this headlight, which honestly is probably going to get replaced here because I want to do lights on this. So I don't have much left. Either way, we're in black right now, so anything's a win. So here's the paint. There we go. There's the paint. Now we just got to let it dry for a little bit and you know, wait again. But you don't have to do it. So paint's dry. So now that the paint's dry, I'm going to sand it to 600 right here too and spray clear over it, and then that's it, baby. So now that this is all sanded, I'm just gonna kind of mask this off right here. This way I don't get clear coat over that. Finished product is coming very shortly, finally. Alright, now it's the final time. Let's get the clear coat on there and give ourselves a little revealy boy. That's dirty. Don't look at it. So there you go, body work done right. All it needs is a buff, but like I said, I don't have a buffer, so. But if this were to be buffed, it would be cleaner than the rest of the truck because of sanding the paint down to 600 before spraying the clear. That makes everything super shiny, super glossy. Since I don't have one, I kind of make do with what I got. Don't forget, I stream on Twitch on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, sometimes Fridays, very minimally Saturdays. Yeah, I try to upload here as much as I can, but clearly this project took a fucking head dive. So that's Chris on the 6. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bitch.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car.